Hello, my name's David Seaman, and this is the Three Lions Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions Podcast. My name is Russell Osborne. This is an independent England football supporters podcast. I hope I find you well. I did say on the last episode that I didn't know if that would be my last before Christmas. Turns out it wasn't. This one may well be. Who knows? But that last one, that was the episode where I spoke with Gaurav Singhvi from America about what the feeling is like over there following the draw and the release of FIFA's ticketing structure. It is still available at your podcast provider of choice or threelionspodcast.com. So those FIFA ticket prices for each supporting nation's fan groups came out on the 12th of December. I think first we saw the Croatian prices, then the Dutch, and then I think we saw the German prices too. They were all fairly similar. And then our own England Supporters Travel Club emailed out ours. Once again, fairly expensive. Bloomin' expensive. In line with those Croatian, Dutch and German prices. To follow England all the way to the final, should that be the case, with Category 3 tickets would set you back $7,020. If you have the money and fancy the best seats in the house, Category 1, $16,500. Obviously, since then, it's been all the talk on the forums, all the WhatsApp, all the Twitter, all the Facebook. And I began to wonder, is it just us? Is it just England fans who feel that the prices are too high? As here we are, and the Football Association and our own supporters club still haven't said a peep about them. So perhaps they are actually in line? I know they're not. Clearly they're not. But do other fans around the world think the same as we do? Since that last episode, people are now beginning to talk about things to do as a way of showing our disgust, distrust, dismay, whatever it may be. There has been talk of a walkout at the Uruguay Wembley game in March. There have been letters, there have been emails written to various people high up within the FA. Various media journalists are talking about this now. This is fans getting together for the greater cause. Some have said that it's pointless as the ticket sales for the World Cup will have been processed by then. Fair enough. That's the way it is. And it's clear people will pay them. The email from the Supporters Travel Club said, and I quote, all 3 group stage matches and all conditional knockout fixtures were oversubscribed. Although what is unclear is how many will actually commit once they know that they're only entitled to the Category 1 expensive tickets, or even Category 2. And whilst I've not dug too deep into it, as I'm not intending on going, can't justify it. So I say it doesn't really matter to me. It does matter to me going forward. But already tickets are showing on resale sites. I mean, I've never bought from a resale site, so I'm not going to say I'm 100% sure of how they actually work, but I'm seeing screen grabs of our match against Panama on the 27th of June. Face value ticket for that one, I think was it $215, $220. One resale price is showing that at $5,000 US dollars. Then another is at 12,000 US dollars. I know this is people putting it up now and just, well, hoping for the best. And I guess that should the demand not be there, those prices will come down. But the fact is that people are putting it on for that sort of money I can't get my head around, to be honest. I don't know if that's in the American market. But it's disgusting. It's vulgar. I don't know. I can't get my head around it. But anyway, back to the point of protesting. I've previously said the March friendlies are our first and only opportunity to come together to make a stance. Be it banners, chants, walkouts. As long as they are noticed and supporters say why it is happening, so journalists can pick up on it, then we will have made a point. Who knows? It may even trickle down to our own supporters club who might sit up and take notice that their own organisation is a consistent shambles. But as I say, the fact is people are willing to pay these prices. And as I said on a previous episode, before the ticket portal had actually opened for specific matches, as I spoke with Gaurav, 2 million tickets had already been sold. And now that it's opened, there have been another 5 million requests for tickets. That's after, I think it was after 24, 48 hours of the ticket portal being open. It also seems that once your application is in, you get your confirmation back with the order total, the order value. Then beneath that, FIFA have got the absolute gall to print, "Thanks for being a true fan." It's like they'll take your money in one hand, and then they'll just say, "Do you mind just opening your legs? I'm going to just kick you between them." And there has been talk of this World Cup not selling out. And I'm genuinely not sure. There might be a few patches here and there in a few games. Austria against Jordan, Curacao against the Ivory Coast. But I'm guessing that each of these will have an expat community over there. So, as I say, there might be a few patches, but I don't think it's going to be empty. But looking back to 1994, that was held in America. That was the most attended World Cup ever. It was an average of 69,000 per game. But clearly back then prices were different. So I really don't know what it will actually be like. So I dug into my contacts, and over the years of doing this show, I've spoken with various fans from opposing nations. I've asked them their thoughts on FIFA's pricing structure through voice notes. I put feelers out to about 15 contacts. I managed to get 5 back. Maybe if I'd been a gold winner rather than a silver winner at the recent Football Content Awards, I may have been a little bit more successful. But hopefully these guys will give you a flavour of what's going on in their nation. And we'll start with Quentin from the French football publication So Foot.
Like most of European fans, French supporters feel betrayed by the prices for the next World Cup. The main group of supporters of the French national team, which is named Les Irrésistibles Français, has conducted a quick survey on the WhatsApp group, and 90 people already said that they won't go to the US while they wanted to because of these prices. They would have to pay a minimum of 191 euros to attend the game against the winner of the intercontinental playoff between Suriname, Bolivia and Iraq. I just repeat because it's insane. They would have to pay between 191 euros and 600 euros just to attend the game against Suriname, Bolivia or Iraq. I talked to a representative from this group. He told me that if you want to follow the national team for the World Tournament from the group stage to the final, it will cost more than 10,000 euros, whereas it was around 5,000 euros in Russia or in Qatar. Fan Association also criticized the price for accessibility ticket companion. You know, people who would come to the stadium with a disabled supporter, because the price, once again here, is just disgusting. The president of the French Football Federation talked about it on Saturday, And he agreed on the fact that football should remain a popular sport without any discrimination linked to money to get to the stadium. A good thing. He promised to talk about the preoccupation of fans to FIFA. It's a little step, obviously. Now we hope that other FAs will step up and put pressure, because this is the only way things could change. Otherwise, hundreds of football fans just will have to give up on their dream to live this World Cup in the US next summer.
Hello, John Blaisdell from Scottish Forums Podcast. Thank you, Russell, for allowing me to give my thoughts on the situation with the tickets for the World Cup. This should be a really exciting time for Scotland fans because it's their first qualification to a World Cup since France 98. Some of the enjoyment and the excitement has been sucked out just by the announcement of those ticket prices. And the percentage of allocation is just scandalous. When you consider in Germany, for the Euros a year and a half ago, where the UEFA gave every nation 10,000 tickets for the group games. And that didn't matter whether it was an 80,000 seater stadium in Berlin, 70,000 in the Allianz, or 45,000 in Leipzig and Cologne. Every nation got 10,000 tickets from their own FA, because they really wanted to make the tournament an atmosphere. Whereas right now, it's not even 5%. Our games in Boston against Haiti and Morocco, for example, I think it works out something like 3,500 Scotland fans through their own FA. Now, I know there's also ways through the FIFA market to get tickets, but through their own FA, to only get 3,500 out of a 67,000 seater stadium in Boston, it's just an insult. It's not opening up for a good atmosphere. But the pricing is just absolutely insane. England are obviously bringing up the final because let's be realistic, whether us Scots like it or not, England do have a chance of winning this World Cup. They could go to the final, so it's natural for them to look at the final. For you, Russell, I mean, the cheapest ticket, £3,800 it works out, or £3,000 it works out, for the cheapest ticket, which is probably going to be somewhere up in the gods. And that's just absolutely ludicrous. And I've seen the pricing is so much higher than even Qatar, and we thought Qatar was a disgrace. But this is just off the scale. And the FAs need to be doing something about this with FIFA, because this is a FIFA issue. But as we've seen before, the whole World Cup draw was centred around Infantino massaging Trump's ego with the FIFA Peace Prize and, just to bring in the village people to do some of the draw entertainment. It was just farcical and nauseating. I mean, we all thought that things couldn't get worse under FIFA than Sepp Blatter. Well, Infantino said, right, hold my beer. He is actually 10 times worse, and I think all the FAs need to get together and find ways of ousting this guy. And there's no doubt that FAs could do more, because at the end of the day, are the FAs not supposed to help make up FIFA? But the World Cup is getting taken away from the ordinary fan, let's be honest. And the FAs need to do more to show that they care. Now, are they going to listen to nations like Scotland, Wales, Haiti? I'm just thinking of the smaller nations. Are they going to listen to these kind of nations? No. Will they listen to England? Probably not. But the likes of the Germans, the Brazilians, the Argentinians, Spanish, arguably English, French, etc. The big nations need to properly step up here and lead the charge on Infantino and FIFA and look for ways to break away if possible. But unfortunately, I don't see that happening anytime soon. But it's absolutely shocking. I never believed I was going to go to the World Cup anyway because of our own financial situation, personally. But I'm glad in some ways I haven't saved up money, because, I'd probably need to, whatever I'd have saved up, I'd like to save up more. And of course, what you're seeing is hotels are finding ways to try and cash in themselves. I've got a friend who puts his accommodation and flights, but then the owner of the hotel got in touch and said, we've had an overbooking, we'll need to cancel your booking. So he went to try to go to the same place, and the price has gone up another 70% because these hotel companies know they can get more. It's just insane. Unfortunately, that's the way the world is, but unless the bureaucrats at our respective AFAs put something in place to challenge these prices and challenge Infantino's leadership, it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
G'day, Russell. Bernie from Down Under here. How are you, mate? Yeah, we've been keeping an eye on the World Cup ticketing, crossing our fingers that we're going to get to have a trip of a lifetime, head to the US next year, working out the strategy, how I was going to explain to the wife how we're going to do it. Despite hearing how horribly expensive it all is over there, with all the crazy tipping you've got to do just to get a feed or a beer. And now we're hearing that it's even harder to get in the country. They're going to be scrutinising all our social media, working out who we all are before we even get there. And I've forgotten that FIFA was probably one of the most corrupt organisations in history, and I've just seen the prices. So, I think it's just all too hard now. It's taken the fun out of it a bit. So, I guess we'll just be heading to Bali, sitting on a beach and watching a few games on TV, I'd imagine. Anyway, all those lucky enough to get there, hope you enjoy it. And, might see you from the TV screen. Good on you guys. Ciao.
Hey, Russell. So from Croatia's point of view, and I have a feeling this is pretty universal at this point with every single competing country, except maybe some Americans that think these dynamic prices are fine. But so from Croatia's point of view, the fans, I mean, particularly our biggest supporter group, the biggest supporter group in Croatia of the national team, a group called Mi Hrvati, which in translation means us Croats, have sent out a statement and I think even an email to the federation, essentially just saying these prices are wild, they're out of order, they shouldn't be the prices that they are. They've essentially said to the federation, "Are you going to stand with us and fight for our?" I mean, so it's stupid to say rights, but fight for us, like make it more accessible to all the Croats that have followed the national team through every tournament to go to another tournament in America. But I have a feeling that the federation is either going to respond privately or not respond at all, because I have a feeling there's not much they can do at this point. Loads of millions of tickets have already been sold, but thankfully for us, we have a huge diaspora in America, especially in around Toronto and Philadelphia. So our games against Panama and Ghana are going to see a very good crowd. I think even in Dallas against England, we're going to see a good amount of American Croats that have been living there. Watch our national team. So we're kind of lucky in that regard, but still, it's sad to know that not a lot of loyal fans of Croatia aren't going to make it to the World Cup just because they're priced out, because these prices are wild. I mean, I think just 4 days ago, the Federation Highness revealed the prices for that they can sell to us fans, and the lowest for England is $265, and the highest category is $700, and I think the middle is around $500, which for one game, and you got to take into account flights if you're going from Croatia or somewhere in Europe or somewhere else. You got to take in the cost that it takes to fly there, hotel or Airbnb, whatever. You're probably going to have to rent a car since, America. And then you also got to pay parking, which is also the prices of parking in America, especially at the tournament. The prices are going to rise to an unbelievable amount. But I have a feeling nobody is a big fan, especially when FIFA tries to save face by saying that they technically aren't doing dynamic pricing, because the prices don't change automatically; they change it manually, which they're passing it on a technicality that they're not doing dynamic pricing, even though they obviously are. But oh well. And this also just means more money to FIFA, because I think they get 30% from all ticket sales. So yeah, our federation isn't doing anything right now. I hope that changes, but that hope is very little. In a perfect world, every single federation would rise up and speak out, but I haven't seen anything from and it's been 4 days since it's been a few days since the supporters group sent that all out and the email to the federation. There's no response yet, and yeah, as I said, I don't think they will get one, at least publicly. But yeah, obviously not fair. I just hope that whoever gets their hands on a ticket to spend as little money as possible, because it's crazy.
Hi, Russell. Here in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, the Dutch FA, they have been quite reserved with the information they provided about the ticketing policy for Oranje during the 2026 World Cup. Should that change, I will let you know to give you an update. I hope you enjoyed the World Cup. 48 nations for the first time, and to think it only started with 8, I believe, and to think how that's been a reflection of society in almost the last 100 years. But enjoy the tournament, and we'll speak soon. All the best. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks to Quentin from France, John from Scotland, Bernie from Australia, Lovra from Croatia, and James from the Netherlands. It's not the biggest pool of opinions, but what they are fairly similar in that they agree that it's expensive and there has been little to no communication from their own national associations. And still we hear nothing from our own FA, nothing from our own supporters club. How long will this silence go on for? Just a token message of acknowledgement. We hear you. Maybe we're trying to do something. Plus, not one current player has said anything. We've heard of Jordan Henderson in the past, standing up for the fans. And we've seen David James saying that he won't be going out there. Obviously, he's not a current player, but he's a former England player, respected player. But not one current England player has said anything. These are the players who come and applaud us at the end of each game, usually at the end of each away game as well. They know that those are the fans that are going to be hit by the prices of this World Cup. Not one of them has said anything. Will anything actually change? I doubt it. But hey, thanks for being a true fan. And for those that have saved to go, and as I've said before, I don't begrudge you if you are going. Many are now considering which game to attend. Obviously the final is what everyone dreams of seeing us in. I saw a recent Twitter poll by an England football fans account at England's Away, and the question was, who is still applying for the World Cup final? After I saw it at 1,366 votes, and with 10 hours left to go, no was by far and away the biggest option, with 77%. I don't know, I guess that says it all. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sort of. Anyway, spread the word. Give the show a follow on the likes of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. I will be back with you once again very soon. Who knows, it may even be before Christmas. But until then, take care of yourselves. And thanks for being a true fan. Cheers.